today I wanted to. I did want to watch some like cringe conservative political stuff. Um, because I have been wanting to do this for ages, really. Anyway, I should probably eat my sandwich. This might become a bit of an ASMR stream. PragerU. I could, yeah, I could. Well, hold on, let me check PragerU. Um, let's see what cringe shit they've done recently. Um, hmm. Oh, oh, there's a few good ones. Okay. Okay. Alright, there's a few good ones. There's one here called, ooh, hold on. There's a few good ones. I don't want to watch some, of, Candace Owens because I can't take that fucking shit right now. Do we want to do get politics out of sports? Because that could be pretty fun. I'll look more into some indie games for you guys later. Don't worry. I might stream tomorrow, and if so, I might see if I can pick up an indie game and we can play it on stream. But do we want to watch Get Politics Out of Sports? Because okay, I should clarify. PragerU. I don't know if you guys know much about. I'm gonna hold on. PragerU. I don't know if you guys know much about them, but PragerU is a right-wing propaganda YouTube channel, basically. They claim to be a university. They claim to be this legitimate source of information, but it's just total right-wing propaganda. They always get people like Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens, you know, these fucking right-wing conservative, like, grifters. They always get them on the show. Their whole thing is about, you know, just perpetuating ideas of, you know, free-range capitalism is great, and, you know, the less regulations, the more free people are, even though, you know, literally the other week in America, we saw that Champlain Tower collapse in Miami because there was a lack of regulation. There was a lack of action taken, and America's infrastructure is falling apart. Yet people like this still benefit off that lack of action and still benefit off people dying. It sounds transphobic. It is transphobic, and we could find one on that. We can talk about that later, but I think a good one to start is get politics out of sports, because this looks... Go away, ad. I'm not giving you free ad. Oh yeah, okay, so this is great. First comment. I completely stopped buying Nike products when they supported Colin's propaganda. So that's talking about when Colin Kaepernick, who's the guy that kneeled at I'm not a massive sports person, but he's a guy that kneeled during the national anthem, and he did a thing with Nike for their 30-year thing. I think it was 30-year anniversary. He did a thing with Nike that was like stand up to oppression. You know, just kind of a thing to do. You know, a nice kind of gesture. And you had so many conservatives burning their fucking Oh, ad block seems useful for this channel. Yeah, I'll get that, don't worry. Burning their Nikes. And guess what? The fucking Nike stock still went up after that. Because those same conservatives that burnt them would later probably go and buy them. And then people who wouldn't necessarily buy Nikes, who are now, you know, see that conservatives are freaking out, like, fuck conservatives, I'm gonna go, like, buy a pair of Nikes. This conservatives always talk about cancel culture, yet they try to cancel people for showing the slightest bit of, like, progressivism, you know? Yeah, burning my own shoes to own the libs. Exactly. You've already bought them, dumb fuck. How about you just don't buy more Nikes instead of burning the ones you have? Like, it's so fucking stupid. Sure, you can say it's like a... Oh, sorry, I'm staring at the sandwich. I gotta take a bite. Lovely. Surely you could fucking, you know, like, I guess you could make the claim that it's like activism. Fuck off. It's not real activism. You're just wasting your own fucking money and polluting the environment in the process. NFL and all these sports are inherently political. Almost everything is inherently political. I'll talk about more of this during the video, but look, I'm going to get very political, obviously, because we're watching PragerU, so consider that I am coming from a very leftist point of view. So let's go.
Pro sports has become woke sports, and that's a problem, not just for athletics, but for all of us. Sport has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. It is more powerful than governments in breaking down racial barriers. It laughs in the face of all types of discrimination.
So, literally the quote he is reading from, and look, he's about to fucking show something Nelson Mandela says, which you will notice is a theme of PragerU. They misquote Martin Luther King, they misquote all of these, like, black figures, you know, women, they misquote all of them to try and perpetuate an idea of, like, you leftists, you are not sticking to your, like, you know, your fundamentals. It's like, fuck off. Holy shit. The very quote he put there is inherently political. The fact that it breaks down racial barriers, I'm sorry, that's a political thing. The fact that NFL and sports breaks down racial barriers, you know, you have like the racial barriers of the Springboks with the South African team and stuff like that. It's political. I don't know if you guys have seen Invictus or whatever that movie is, the one with Matt Damon, where it talks about Nelson Mandela and, you know, the political nature of that whole football team and the new, you know, government after apartheid. It's inherently political. Most things are inherently political because politics runs everything. Who fucking knew? Jesus.
Nelson Mandela spoke those words. The Nobel Peace Prize recipient understood the power of sports to bring disparate people together.
Inherently
There's
political.
No better example of this than the famous victory of South Africa's mixed-race team in the 1995 Rugby World Cup.
That there. The Rugby World Cup, South Africa's mixed-race team winning, that is inherently a political statement about what was happening in South Africa at the time. It's just, like, I don't understand. It is inherently political. Like, given the fact that apartheid had just ended, it was making a statement about the fact that, look, whites and blacks are now trying to unite in South Africa, and we're going to win we are able to unite. That is inherently political. The fact that this guy's going to claim that politics does not fit in sports is fucking ridiculous, because it always has. Everything is political. Yeah, you're right. Literally everything is political. It's like when people complain that video games are getting too political. It's like, it's art. It's like, you know, video games are an art. And guess what? Art is often used to express politics. Because politics are what are happening and occurring in the world at the moment, and people want to express that. It's why we saw, you know, 20 fucking feature films come out last year, you know, indie films that were like all on Zoom, you know, horror Zoom movies and stuff like that. It's why you have like the rise of absurdism after World War II, you know. Art responds to that stuff, and football and like rugby and, you know, sports are another way of responding to current world events. Like, it's such a ridiculous fucking statement.
Mandela's presentation of the Winners' Trophy to team captain Francois Pienaar stands as an iconic symbol of unity in post-apartheid South Africa.
Like, I feel like I'm going insane. Is that not inherently political? Like, oh my god.
Sports have served as a powerful racial unifier in America as well. This is not new. It goes back decades. In 1936, the great black sprinter and long jumper Jesse Owens won 4 gold medals at the Berlin Olympics.
I'm going insane because we're watching some bullshit conservative video that's trying to claim that we need to get politics out of sports, even though sports and most things are inherently political. So, yeah.
In 1938, the great black boxer Joe Louis scored a first-round knockout over German heavyweight Max Schmeling. The Owens and Louis victory.
Hold on.
First-round knockout over German heavyweight Max Schmeling.
I fucking love the last name Schmeling. Get politics out of sports proceeds to give examples of politics in sports. Exactly. And he's saying that these are positive aspects. But watch, he's gonna, I fucking know it. He's gonna say that when it gets to like modern day politics, we have already unified. We don't need politics in sports. It's so like, it's so controlling, and leftists are trying to push their agenda. We'll get to that when it fucking comes. But watch, he's gonna fucking claim
The
that.
Owens and Lewis victories punctured Hitler's Aryan superiority myth, unified black and white Americans in pride and celebration, and established Owens and Lewis as America's first black national heroes.
Yeah.
Jesse Owens and Joe Louis laid the foundation for Brooklyn Dodgers general manager Branch Rickey's partnership with black baseball legend Jackie Robinson to integrate Major League Baseball in the late 1940s.
I don't know much about this. Most sports are built on politics. Yeah, that's what we said. I'm not a massive sports person, so I can't talk on this. But I want you to take everything that PragerU is saying and add the knowledge that this is a right-wing propaganda website and that, whatever is it Daniel Prager? Dylan Prager? Hold on. David Prager. Dennis Prager, yeah. Take everything, like Dennis Prager, this motherfucker, he is one of the most damaging kind of conservative figures. Like, it still says I'm playing GTA, by the way. Oops, I gotta change that. Okay, thank you, Jack. I'll keep the video going.
In turn, inspired Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and the civil rights movement of the 1950s. Barack Obama credited Robinson for his political rise. There's a direct line between Jackie Robinson and me standing here, said America's first black president. Obama saw what Mandela saw, how sports transcends all barriers. When you see this group of folks of different shades coming from different communities and then playing as one team and celebrating each other and being joyous in that, that tells us something about America.
What does it tell us? I wonder what he's trying to say there. I'm wondering if he's trying to say that sports is inherently political. Yeah, he literally said political rise. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. People eat this shit up.
In other words,
Hold on,
is the ultimate equalizer. In competition, what matters is winning. That means excellence matters. And both are colorblind. Sports allow us to experience the power of pure meritocracy.
So, this is false, right? Literally, like, the other week, I think it was that the NBA or the NFL removed like these. Hold on, what's it called? They removed these restrictions that like were done to test whether or not black people were like qualified enough to actually like play. It's like this real like NFL race norming. So this is the NFL only recently, like the other month, reversed this thing called race norming, which was like, it was basically like, I gotta find the thing. Race norming, a practice based on the assumption that black people vary in predictable ways from the alleged biological/cultural norm that is white. Like, it is not a unifying thing. It's never been colorblind. Literally, in 2021, it's only just being undone, and there are still things like this, you know. Like, sport is not like this unifying. Like, great, it's a unifying thing, but it's not colorblind. It's like inherently false to say that it's colorblind, because it isn't. And sport is still, you know, black people are still facing oppression in sports. You get conservatives point at like basketball and say, "Look how many black basketball players there are," you know. That's proof that black people are no longer oppressed in the United States. It's like, no, it isn't. Because black people are still, it is a miracle that a lot of people are still like that. Like, you know, it's a miracle that there are tons of black people in the NFL and stuff like that, because there's these laws that are active, and like these rules that are actively put in place to try and suppress them from actually being in those sports. It is not a unifying thing. It is not, you know, this fucking meritocracy. He's lying to you.
The only way to govern sports and the only way to govern life. But now, all this storied history and the positive message of sports are being undone. In September 2016, NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick took a knee, that is, refused to stand during the national anthem.
If you ever see a conservative going on about this Colin Kaepernick or people kneeing to the national anthem, I want you to point out something that a lot of conservatives like to point out. It's called the It's called the freedom of speech, which means that the government can't limit you or prosecute you on your speech. He is practicing his First Amendment right. Is it First? I think it's First Amendment. He is practicing free speech. This is literally the definition of free speech. No one is obligated to like fucking stand to the flag. He is practicing literally like to the line what free speech is. But conservatives only put free speech when it applies to them being able to say the N-word and get away with it, you know? All of history was undone because a person was kneeling. Yeah, it's like, fuck off. You know what's funny? Is that conservatives, like 20 years ago, or like back in like the 40s, conservatives are always trying to like be slightly ahead, right? They realize that they can't talk shit about, you know, the fact that like, they can't talk shit about, black people being able to, like the Springboks, right? I can bet you Dennis Prager back then in 1994 was going on about how he didn't like think that, you know, I can assure you Dennis Prager doesn't think that people like black people and white people should be playing in the same fucking like sports like team, you know? Back then, conservatives would be saying the same thing. They'd be going like, look, the 1940s, black unifying, but now we have, you know, these black people making this rugby championship all about politics. They're always trying to push it forward, but then they use history to be like, look at this example of great black people standing up. But the second that it actually applies to the modern day, no. Like, how is this different from any other, like, political, like, portrayal of black people rising up in sport? Or black people taking a stand in sport? Or taking a knee in sport? How is this different? It isn't. But it just applies to the modern day. So conservatives can kind of misconstrue and there's all this, like, surrounding, like, chaos of, like, oh, this is a bad thing. But you can't really do that for the past. Because, you know, we've seen the effect and the great effect this stuff has had on the modern day. So, yeah. It's total bullshit.
His defenders say his protest wasn't about the flag, but Kaepernick said otherwise. I am not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color, he told the press.
True.
We all know what happened next. Players across the NFL followed Kaepernick's lead,
Good.
kneeling, locking arms,
As they should.
even raising fists during the national anthem. Then athletes from other sports joined in. Ironically, just as sports has the power to unite, we have discovered it also has equal power to divide.
There it is! How? How is it dividing? It is pointing out the very fact that black people still in the United States are oppressed. Just because Jim Crow laws were undone, you know, however long ago, just because all the law, you know, it's no longer, black people now have equal rights as white people, they are still oppressed. This is a fact. I can go into this for hours. I'm not going to. We can do that another day if you guys want to. But it is a fact that black people are still oppressed in the United States. So this is not dividing. This is trying to call out the bullshittery and the absolute, like, ineptitude of the American government towards creating, you know, actual, like, it is uniting people in protest towards, exactly. It's people protesting inequality and uniting people in doing so. He's literally just saying, look at this. Black people across the NFL followed. Is that not uniting?
Then athletes from other sports joined.
You know, like, it's fucking ridiculous. It's total bullshit.
Equal power to divide. On opening day 2021, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred stripped Atlanta of the All-Star game as punishment for Georgia politicians' passage of a voter integrity bill.
This voter integrity bill, by the way, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with this. Holy shit, they can use the water fountains now. We are so good at equality. Exactly. It's like we removed we got rid of all the signs that said that this toilet is for black people, this toilet is for white people. We are not racist anymore. You know, racism is not just about laws. It's about deep-rooted, systematic, like, oppression and systematic, you know, laws that are there to, like, actively restrict people. You know, like, conservatives are so fucking short-minded, either purposefully or ignorantly, that they can't fucking see this shit. Like, you know, they can't see this shit. This, Georgia restriction, after what was the hellhole and hellscape that was the 2020 election, after Trump actively tried to discredit every, you know, source of legitimate voting, you know, you now have Georgia trying to make these laws that would restrict voting rights It's both purposeful and ignorant. Yeah, exactly. It depends on the conservatives. The rich conservatives, like Dennis Prager, it's definitely purposeful because it, it perpetuates this idea of conservatism, which perpetuates capitalism, which perpetuates people like Dennis Prager making shit tons of money and not having to pay a single bit of tax. All of this stuff comes down to how much money can Dennis Prager make. But then it's ignorant for the dumb fucks who watch this stuff. I mean, you feel bad. Like this guy here, the libertarian. Holy shit. I completely stopped buying Nike products when they supported Colin's propaganda. This guy is definitely a fucking, like, grifter sheep. This guy, like, I hate using shit like that, like the, wake up sheeple. But that guy just listens to what he's told. There's no fucking way that guy does any legitimate research. And it's the same with PragerU. They don't fucking cite their sources. They have, look, you can see the whole script there. Wonderful. But, like, you can, like, oh yeah, facts and sources. I bet if I went that, it would link to its own stuff. Usually they do. How do I find the sources? Facts and sources. Yep. Okay. Sports has played a massive role in dispelling racist myths and dismantling racist ideologies. I'm sorry. Yeah. It has. What? Literally in their own sources. They have a source about how sport is dispelling racist myths. Am I fucking going insane? And I feel like I'm going insane. I feel like I'm a fucking, like, lunatic here. Because this is insane. Oh my god. Fuck off. I don't want to subscribe to you. Okay.
Out into the political mob that cast half of America as racist, the move...
Oh yeah, so about this. Georgia has made this law that would mean that you're not allowed to give gifts to people in line and voting, which basically means you can't supply water and food and, like, essential services to people waiting in line to vote, which is a necessary thing, especially in Georgia, which actively restricts, and this is all across America, but especially Georgia, which actively restricts the actual voting places in black neighborhoods so that more black people are forced into one voting area as opposed to a white neighborhood. More predominantly white neighborhood where there's more spaces so that the people aren't waiting in line all day. This is a racial move. And this is a fact that this is a racial move. This is just a fact that this is, like, done to racially deter elections. And to racially, it's to racially discriminate in elections. This is another example of black people systematically being oppressed in America. It doesn't say it in writing. Just because it doesn't say it descriptively in writing, like, we can't let black people vote, doesn't mean it's not systematically and actively oppressing those groups. Anyway, yeah, so this is a great move. Moving, like, fuck off, Of course there's a best national, like, NBL, what was it?
For Georgia Football Commissioner Rob Manfred,
okay, All-Star Game, yeah.
Atlanta the All-Star Game as
good.
Punishment
yeah,
for
good.
Georgia
It should be punished.
Passage of a
fucking
voter
bullshit.
integrity bill. Bow into the political mob that cast half of America as racist. The move fractured baseball's fan base. The entire American sports world.
If you look back, and you look back on, the fact that... I feel like I'm watching Hassan's stream. Yeah, probably. If you look back and you were to watch... Like, if you were to, get people's reactions to the mixed race team winning the rugby game, I'm sure you could find some people that are going on about how, this mixed race rugby team is way too divisive. It's dividing half of South Africa, how am I meant to, the fact that the blacks want to play with the whites, not very good, it's the same talking points all throughout history. Conservatives love to use the past to back up their current points, yet I can bet you the exact same people would be saying what I just said about South Africa if they were living in that time. I can 100% guarantee you.
A culture that celebrated victors, colorblindness, and patriotism.
We've been over this. It's not.
Itself in victimization and left-wing radicalism. This immersion.
I love when conservatives talk about victimization because conservatives are literally the biggest victims. This guy is going on about how people talking about current political things in sports hurts my feelings and actively rips my sport apart. This guy is currently has a victim complex. Like, come on.
Threatens permanent damage both to American sports and to the larger American culture. Once again, Kaepernick takes the lead. He no longer plays football. He is now a professional influencer.
Good on him.
He hawks his political message in partnership with Nike.
Sweet.
The $40 billion a year puppet master of American sports.
Okay. Okay. A $40 billion a year puppet master of American sports. It's funny coming from Dennis Prager, by the way, who has about 1,000 fucking puppet masters. Or oh yeah, there's another thing. Most of these whenever you see like a significant conservative outlet. Oh, Justin just messaged me. Oh, it's a YouTube video. I'm trying to get more people to watch. Okay. So yeah, like yeah, all of these conservative like fucking shills, you can always guarantee that they have. Wait, I swear to God, you can't make anything this nuts up if you had a damn AI generating bogus scripts. Exactly. This stuff's like it's like active. All of PragerU stuff is actively trying to like just mislead you. It's propaganda. Like it's factually propaganda. It's ridiculous.
LeBron James and Nike's other brand influencers are making millions off amplifying racial wounds.
Funny how he claims this, because like I just said, PragerU makes millions off like lobbyists and like, you know, these big oil companies that are like funding people like PragerU and fucking who else? You know, Steven Crowder and Ben Shabibo. Like, they're all funded by these massive corporations that are giving them tons of money to perpetuate, you know, just fucking lies so that, I don't know, oil companies can keep fucking destroying our planet. Oh boy, it's PragerU. Yeah, exactly. Did Steven Crowder die yet? No, but he's gone into surgery and I haven't heard from him since, so I'm... It could be... Possibly. Ooh.
It's a cynical and brilliant business strategy. It explains why pro sports, especially the National Basketball Association, seem more concerned about how they are perceived in China than they are here in America. China is a huge market. Its 1.4 billion citizens have more sneaker spending power than America's 333 million. It's simple math. The $8 billion a year NBA is the marketing arm of Nike's $40 billion a year global business.
Why the fuck would Nike be trying to advertise themselves as super BLM in China when China is literally under rule of like a fascist government? Like a genocidal government. Sorry, no. I hate to break it to you, but China isn't super like pro BLM or pro Antifa. No, they're making these moves because most of the NBA is black members and they want to actually have some influence on American politics because the NBA is historically has been such a way for black people to gain power and gain privilege in America. So that's just like using fucking China as like a guys, they're advertising to China. It's like fuck off. Holy shit. The victim complex my ass.
Driving American sports. That's
why
team owners, coaches, and
cool.
players are so willing to call America racist, but remain silent on China's egregious treatment of its minorities and suppression of freedom in Hong Kong.
I literally just said that. Has it gone right over his fucking head? There are people in the NBA who have spoken out about this. Tons. Like, I agree. I fucking hate China. And keep in mind, I don't hate Chinese people. I don't hate Chinese culture. I hate the Chinese government. I have to make that fucking distinction, because otherwise tankies go, oh, you're being racist to Chinese people. It's like, no, I'm not being racist to Chinese people. I fucking hate the Chinese government, not Chinese people. Yeah, this is just ridiculous. This is trying to, like, move the, you know, it's China's fault. Hudson hates the Chinese confirmed. Oh, okay.
Ultimately,
moving on.
The fans hold the power.
Yeah.
They buy the tickets,
yeah.
the shoes, and the merchandise.
Yeah. Like we said at the beginning, fans hold the power. That's entirely true. That's why there's a difference between hating a country and hating the people that it's from. Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes you have to make that distinction for dumbasses. Like we said at the beginning, this comment here where it's saying like I immediately got rid of where is it? I immediately stopped buying Nike products when they supported Colin's propaganda. You had tons of conservatives burning their shoes, yet Nike's stock prices still went up because the fans, who are mostly don't want black people to be oppressed in America, didn't want black people to be oppressed in America. Yes, the fans hold the power, and most of the fans don't want black people to be oppressed and believe in these political statements. This is such a dumb fucking argument. The fans do hold the power, and the fans really don't like systematic racism, as we can see by the fact that Nike stock prices went up after the Colin Kaepernick stuff, and after conservatives starting burning their own shoes to own the libs. Jesus.
Watch what they do. If they accept sports as just another arena to fight political battles, you'll know dark days are ahead.
Like this guy said at the beginning, sports has always been a place to fight political battles. Like he said with the South African mixed race team. I don't understand how this dumb fuck is so fucking stupid. You have, and these people in the comments, get politics out of everything, including sports. I'm sorry. What? The title should be Get Sports Out of Politics. What? Oh, right. Okay, okay, sure. It's just fucking people. The fact that there are people who watch this video and don't have the brain power to realize the fact that literally 30 seconds before he started talking shit about Colin Kaepernick, he was talking about how sports has historically been an opportunity for black people to voice their their hatred or their concerns towards these governments and these versions of oppression.
We'll be headed back to a brighter future. I'm Jason Whitlock for Prager University.
This video was made.
Okay, fuck off. Yeah, so generous donation from the T.W. Lewis Foundation. Fucking propaganda. PragerU is I'm not gonna say borderline. PragerU is propaganda. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I could go on and on about this. Is there any other genuinely? If you guys have